Hello and welcome. My name is Andrew Briggs. This is going to be an updated deck profile for my favourite deck, Giant Ballpark Insects. I say update because I did a profile before about like a year ago after I came 8th at Southampton Regional, and in the comments of that video, some guy asked for one. So this is for him, that guy. Also, because like rank 10 Yu-Gi-Oh put my pubescent voice break on like his Injector archive thing, so I thought, yeah, may as well.
With generic insect decks, they pop up in the weirdest places when I'm doing research. Like, not even the guy who top with them can believe it. Just listen to his voice.
What deck did you use?
It was Giant Ballpark Insects. But yeah, let's get into it.
So first things first, let's start with the namesake field spell. It's Giant Ballpark, so 3 of those. For anyone who doesn't know, it will negate any battle damage by sending an insect from deck to grave. If it's normal, you can special summon every copy of that card. So obviously you can use that for OTKing, link climbing, and stuff like that. But as such, you have to run 3 normal insects. So we run 3 Squadder, Shiny Black Sea Squadder. I didn't really like the English name, so I got a few other languages. And then we also run 3 Insect Knight. It's kind of necessary to run 2 sets, as if you get to the sort of like turn 3, 4, you're going to have to possibly use Ballpark again. So you need that sort of extra resources in your deck to do that. So, and then we've got some other insects. So we run 3 Gokupol. It's a really good insect. Basically, uses it to adds. It's one of the starter cards, so it adds a level 4 insect to your hand. But if it's normal, you can special summon and pop something on the field without targeting. So that's always quite nice. And then we've got Resonance Insect. It's another starter card. If it leaves the field, you add a level 5 or higher insect to your hand. And that's super nice for example, adding like a extender like Doomdozer. So Doomdozer is just is level 8 insect, banish 2 to special summon it. The other extender we run is Aztekapede. The nice sort of synergy between all these is obviously these two will banish to summon themselves. If Resonance is banished, it will send an insect from deck to grave, and then if Gokupol is sent to grave, you can then obviously add things. So there's sort of like a line of sort of a synergy here. The other things that we add off Resonance Insect are the kaijus, and this is basically what makes this deck competitive. So the kaiju lineup is 2 Godala, 2 Humongous, and a Gamma and then 3 Slump. We run 3 names just because that means we can resolve Slumber more times and add things to your hand, and obviously we've got other ways to add the insect kaijus together to your hand from his Resonance Insect. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this lineup. I've fiddled around with extra Humongouses when Dragoon got released and stuff like that, but hey. And let's move on to some non-insects. So we run 2 Alpha, just good at outing Dragoon. It's actually really nice with kaijus. You can occasionally slumber into sort of like Gamma and Godala, and you get the smaller one, then you specially Alpha and stuff like that. So it's really nice in that regard. We used to run sort of Pancratops, but Alpha is just better, I think, and also Pancratops. There was an issue with obviously Slumber being a bit of an annoying thing if you then can summon Pancratops. So really happy with Alpha. And we also run 3 Parallel Exceeds, just a really great level 4 extender, well, level 7 or whatever it is. And then we run the Dragoon package. So obviously then we've got the Anaconda and the extra. The Dragoon has given Rogue decks such a bump up. It's really, really good. Against a meta deck, it's good removal, it's good just easy negation to make and stuff like that. And burning, especially in an OTK deck, is really nice. You're getting the actual sort of way to kill them essentially. So then let's move on to the spells. So obviously we're majority going second, so we want to sort of have big removal. So we've got run 3 Lightning Storm. Run out of 2 for a bit, didn't really like it. Found it was a bit. If you opened it, it was really good. So I just maxed it out in the end. someone always told me off for saying like you sometimes want to see it. So I'm making sure that we always want to see it. If we run a card, we don't try and run twos as much as possible. And then obviously it's really important that we run the field spell. So we've got set rotation, and the other target is Mystic Mine. It's just a really good sort of bait spell essentially, because they're against sort of like a main Dragon Link board. If they don't negate the Mystic Mine, they're going to struggle for a bit. And then obviously we run a Terraforming, and then we also have Muscle Reborn and a Goldsuck. Goldsuck is just an extra starter card. You know, if you banish your Resonance Insect, trigger that, send Goku, add whatever you want to add. It's just quite nice. And then finishing off the main, we've got Hand Traps. Hand Traps always fluctuate depending on the format and stuff. But currently I'm just running the most generic ones really. You've got 3 Ash, 3 Imperm. I did run Gamma for a while and Nibiru. They are good. It's just sometimes you want to go turn 2 and make a board, and drawing a Gamma for turn and Nibiru is not amazing. But yeah, I'm quite happy with these two. They are relatively hard hitting. Imperm's not as much anymore, but Ash is still super relevant and stuff like that. So I'm happy with this lineup. And so then moving onto the extra deck. So we've link ones. We've got a Link Spider and an Almirage. Almirage is really nice in the deck. It basically means you don't have to run a card called Multiplication of Ants, which was tribute an insect, summon 2 level 4 insect tokens. Obviously that was a sort of starter card if you drew the Gokupole or the Resonance Insect. So Almirage is really nice to have that, and obviously lots of normal monsters if you can get them off board. That's always nice to have. So then link 2s, we've got Masquerainer, Barricade Blocker, Phoenix, and 2 Insecta Picophilina. I mean, Masquerainer is just generic rank 2. Barricade Blocker, running Polling Field Spell, and Phoenix, which is back row pain in the ass. So the 2 interesting ones really are the Picophilinas. They are like they're a mini Pot of Avarice, so you're shuffling back resources to draw a card. And they also attach insects from the deck, so you can use them to trigger to prox the Gokupole and the Resonance Insect. So it's just a nice, and always 2 is always good because you can shuffle 1 back from a previous turn. And then Link 3 we have is a Unicorn, just more removal. Link 4 is an Abramax and a Boral Sword. We're just maximizing ways to run sort of like a OTK, and I like Boral Sword over sort of like Utopia Double currently. I know there's lots of level 4s, but an extra brick in the deck is just kind of a meh. But anyway, obviously then other ways to OTK is obviously the Dragoon package, and burning, as I said earlier, is really good. Yeah. So then XYZYs, we've got Traptrix, Alumerous, Baguska, and Tornado Dragon. So back row is really nasty against this deck, so maxing out any way to remove stuff like that. Baguska is kind of a flex spot at the moment. I did have it as Abyss Dweller, but my locals, my remote locals, sadly, has a lot of sort of zoo stuff like that. So I thought that might be an interesting sort of tech. And then Traptrix and Alumerous is a fantastic sort of extender in the deck. You can use it to sort of recur. What's his name? Resonance Insect, because another of his effects are once per turn, which is very nice. Her second effect is actually really good. Like if you pop something on your opponent's field, you can then detach a material and special it back to your field, which is really good. I've actually never used it though, which is weird, but we'll just live with that, I guess. We could go quickly into the extra deck. I've got 1 less sleeve than I should do, which is very annoying. But this kind of changes week by week, honestly. So we run 3 Nibiru, 3 Lancia, just different changing up of sort of hand traps. Lancia is really nice against very certain decks, like Dogmatica Invoked, There's also in Dragon Link. I know it doesn't particularly stop them, but it stops the part that I don't like the most, which is like the Levinier and obviously the baby dragons at the Chaos Space and stuff like that. It just makes their end board slightly less good than it will be, and it means I can sort of pick it apart more likely with kaijus and stuff like that. And then we've got some Sparkrow removal in the form of Cosmic Cyclone and Harpy Feathers Duster, which is good stuff, really. Then we've got a bit of Spice, I guess. Heatwave, if you know that your opponent's going to make you go first, so for example, Dinos, Heatwave is such a funny card because obviously you can special your normal insects, but they've probably got nothing, so that's always quite a nice one to slap down the field. And then to finish off, we've got Metaverse and Reboot. If you're going first again, Reboot's just good, and Metaverse is just good, and then Reboot just helps you get rid of stupid traps. But yeah, that's all good, I think. So that concludes Giant Ballpark Insects. I might film a couple more deck profiles. I have a few more decks lying around that I like to play. A few things I'm sort of building, but I might try and also get some friends in to show their stuff. Very little of them have actual janky decks though, so I might have to ask them to be a bit more out of the ballpark, you could say. I'm actually not going to bother editing a drum thing because that's not the level of comedy I wish to bring to this channel. But anyhow, hopefully a new podcast will come soon as well. But yes, you have to be patient with that one. But thank you so much. Please leave let me know anything you think the deck could use or shouldn't use or whatever. Any feedback is always welcome. And that's everything. So thank you. See you later, nerds.